Okay, Ms. Early, it's my understanding that y'all have visited. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
where are we this morning, y'all?
Judge, we have an agreement.
Okay.
And then there's a few things that I think the parents want. I don't know that those can be agreed to right away, but I think we can discuss those.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so
I'll write them
sure. So both parents have agreed for the department to have TMC.
down.
Right
Okay.
now, the child is placed in a foster home. Um, I believe that both parents want placement with grandma. Mom lives with grandma, but at this time there were concerns with marijuana use actually by all the parties. And so
Okay.
um, I believe that Mom and Becky have requested a home study on grandma with the thought that placement could eventually be changed to grandma and there would be protective parenting. But again, we don't have a home study. And the nature of this case and with the injuries that this child sustained, I think we need to proceed carefully. And
Um,
so
and you're talking about maternal grandma, correct?
that's correct. Yes,
And the home study won't pass as long as the mother's living in the home.
that is correct. Yes.
Okay.
And Becky, I don't know that Mom intends to move out. Would that be correct to say?
At this point in time, there is not a way to do that. But I think there's lots of, prayerfully, we'll be able to look at some workarounds. We're not expecting that to happen like next week, but by the time we get there, perhaps we're looking at a monitored return at that time. Or some, Judge, we've done this before. I'm trying to figure out the languaging we've used whenever I guess placement would be with the maternal grandmother, but it would be on an agreement of the parties if CPS could approve it without the official home study. We've done that several times before, Judge. I'm just trying to figure that out. We're not expecting that today, but just
Okay.
working towards that.
Placement can be as agreed. But the only problem is if she were to come, want to get, if the case went south later on, I would be concerned about her being able to get benefits and stuff like that if the home study failed because mom's living in the home.
Right. I think that we're really willing to jump over all those things just to look at a goal of getting that kiddo home and then have protected daycare. Once the child gets home, grandma would shift to a day shift. So she'd be able to be there 100% of the time when the child is present.
Okay. Let me ask y'all a question. It's totally unrelated. Anybody see anybody from CVS here? No.
I don't see CVS.
Investigators, do y'all know anything about why they're not here today?
I think the CVS worker said she was trying to get on, but she's on the road, so wasn't able to.
Do you know who it is?
Victoria Martin.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to text their bosses right now. Always good everybody to be here.
Maybe I need to get on the call by myself and be here by myself.
Okay. Who just said something? Who said that?
Nocoria, the mother.
Oh, okay. 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 Okay, Miss Early, what else?
We do need drug testing for all the parties, including hair strand and or nail testing. We do need to get a baseline.
Judge, I shared with Deb that mom had already colored her hair and her mother had colored her hair in the past. They know they're not to do that any longer. I just want everybody to be aware of that going into this.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on a second. I'm texting CPS. So that being said, I'd already written hair strand on mom, dad, and maternal grandma per CPS with results back by the next hearing. Miss Early, you think we ought to do maybe a nail test?
Yes, but I understand that mom's nails aren't long enough, and so that may still take some time, even if it's 30 days before we would be able to do that.
Okay, I'm just going to do hair strand / nail.
Okay.
And Martin can figure it out. I mean, we're not going to be doing anything during the holidays, and maybe her nails grow. While I have y'all on here, you can't dye, cut, bleach your hair during the pendency of a CPS case. I mean, you can trim it. I don't think but you can't come back in with no hair. You have to keep body hair. You have to be able to keep a quarter of a width of all your fingernails and all your toenails. So we don't do fingernails, might be able to do toenails also. And for now, as long as we're testing the maternal grandma, that's gonna apply to her also. Well, really, as long as if she's potential placement, that's probably gonna be, for sure too. Okay. Okay.
Excuse me?
Wait, just a second, Nikki. Corey, we'll be able to let you ask questions in a minute.
Okay.
Judge, all parties deny Native American heritage. We do need paternity testing on dad.
Okay. Let me tell y'all real quick. Somebody named Reese is in the waiting room. You might know Reese.
Why do
That's
we
the
need
foster
paternity
placement.
testing on dad?
Hold on a second. Miss Gilson, who's Reese?
Reese, that's the foster parents, but I've told them that we probably wouldn't let them in and that we'll
They can come in.
are you letting them in?
They all can always come in. Yeah, okay. Miss Fowler says, why do we need paternity testing?
My understanding, the parties were not married. I mean, I guess if dad wants to.
He acknowledged, but let me
Okay,
ask him if he has any doubt if he wants DNA done.
okay.
Mr. Pope, do you want to have DNA done on this?
You're
Okay.
muted. Can't hear you.
If he does, I will send a group email to everyone. I'll have a private conversation with him.
Okay, Miss Lane, what is your client? I mean, where's your client in this issue?
She has not indicated that anybody else is the father of this child. We can certainly ask her that, Judge.
Okay, I'm just gonna go and put it in the order, and if y'all decide not to, Miss Fowler, y'all, Miss Lane, y'all can. That's one less thing we'll have to worry about. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Miss Early.
Judge, as far as visits, I mean, at this point, the department is not opposed to visits. They would obviously need to be supervised. I think dad right now is wanting virtual visits. And so I think we need to discuss who is going to supervise those visits.
Well, for now, the department's going to supervise those.
Okay.
I mean, I can tell you that.
And
Is that the baby? Is she out of the hospital?
yes, she is.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
And I mean, virtual visits, I think, Judge, I mean, your opinion will probably be the same. They're going to be difficult with an infant. I mean, you may get a good couple of minutes and that's about it, but
I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
Okay.
that's it. So here's your baby. Look at your baby eat. I mean, somebody can feed the baby or change the diaper or something and be on the camera at the same time. And Limes, what do y'all think? Tell me what y'all think about visits real quick, virtual and in person. Dr. Shim, we'll go to you first.
I think virtual visits are fine for children that are older. If the parents are willing to spend those few minutes, and I mean, there'll be a few minutes, just watching the baby and seeing her and reassuring themselves that she's okay, I think that's fine. I think that, as the court has indicated, any in-person visits will need to be supervised closely by the department.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Wright?
I agree with Dr. Sheehan, Judge. I mean, this is a small baby, so I think frequent visits would be good. But I mean, I know that it's going to be hard just logistically, especially this time of year. But I think frequent supervised by the department would be great, and then whatever virtual they can agree to.
Okay. Ms. Wright or department, which general location is Kalani placed in?
I'm
sure
sorry.
that answer, but Travis E.
Travis E. Okay. So kind of in between mom and dad, I guess. Okay.
Mhm.
So probably visits would be at the Travis County CPS office.
I did it at mom's visit yesterday was at the Burnett office because it was kind of, I guess, an in-between point. But if there's a closer one, I mean, we can definitely figure that out.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if Bernie's in between, that's okay. You know, okay. So mom had a visit yesterday, you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 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 What else, Miss Early?
Judge, we want the parents to provide care items for the child. There has been a request this morning, or a question about whether mom and grandma would be allowed to attend medical visits. I think right now, that may be too soon because of the department supervising visits. You know, with medical visits, I would require the placement and mom and grandma to be there. And I think right now, especially with the holidays, the placement is trying to get the follow-up visits scheduled. And so, you know, that it's not going to happen immediately, but I think that's probably something we can revisit in the future, especially as we figure out where this case is going and how frequent the doctor's visits are. But I think that's probably jumping in a little too much right now, especially because we haven't even really started visits.
I think it's reasonable for right now. Like you said, we're going to have the status hearing on January 25th.
Mhm.
So that's a month away. So that's quick. That's our next Blanco County court date. So I'm trying to, you know, kind of up this a little bit. I think for this time being, I'm going to say parents to be timely informed of all doctor visits and information within 48 hours of visit. I mean, like no less than 48. I mean, like hopefully 24 or something. But I'm trying to, you know, if it's on a Friday, you know, I'm trying to cut some people some slack. So, okay. What else, Miss Early?
I think that's all I have right now.
Can we get medical records, Your Honor?
Okay. Miss Lang, what do you need?
If you don't mind, I'll ask Corey what it was she wanted to share a minute ago, or you had a question, Corey, for the court?
No.
You're okay? Okay, very good, Judge. I think a lot of the rest of the stuff we want to talk about is going to happen at the family group conference and talking about how the service plans are set up and things of that nature. And I think for right now, just as much as the ad items in the department can agree to let mom see this little one over the holidays, and I know dad wants to see her as well, we'd really appreciate that.
Okay. I have some good things written down, so that's good. Okay.
Thank you.
Miss Fowler.
You covered it with the timely informing the parents about her medical well-being after appointments and medical records, Your Honor. I'd like to get the medical records.
I gotta go. Okay, thank you. Dr. Shannon, what do you need?
Medical records and notice of visits when they're going to take place.
Okay, got that written down too. Good. Have you been able to see Kalani?
No, I have a visit scheduled with her next on the 28th.
Okay, thank you. Miss Wright?
Judge, I was just going to ask for the medical records, and it sounds like talking to the placement mom did provide some diapers yesterday, so that's good. But yeah, I think you covered everything.
Okay, let me go back over this, y'all, so we can make sure we got it all. Parents first, let me tell y'all that as Ms. Lang mentioned, the next thing that's going to happen is called a family group conference. And at the family group conference, that's where your services are developed. And the services are things that y'all will need to comply with, and grandma too, in order to get Kalani to come back home. I tell everybody at every hearing, you have to comply with your service plan or your parental rights could be subject to termination. Y'all understand that? You can just nod. Yeah, okay. We're going to come back for what's called our status hearing on January 25th. Do all the lawyers and Dr. Sheehan, do y'all agree that can be held via, y'all can be on Zoom and me and Miss Early will be in the courtroom? Y'all good with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
I figured. Okay, so we come back at the status hearing on January 25th in the morning. And at that time, we'll go over your service plan. I would imagine that y'all would have already started working on your service plan. And at that time, I make it an order of the court. I'll also give y'all some more court dates at that time, so you kind of know to put on your calendar so you can plan accordingly. I am, by agreement, going to name the department as the temporary managing conservator of Kalani. Parents, this is real important. Y'all have applications for court-appointed attorney. I don't know you're indigent and that you're eligible for an attorney unless I get those applications back. They are to be back to the court by January 1st, 2024, or I don't know that y'all are eligible and I will release attorneys from further representation. So as soon as your attorneys get those two, you fill out every blank legibly and get them back to your attorney so they can send it to me. I'm going to order a home study on maternal grandma, hair strand nail test on mom, dad, and maternal grandma per as directed by the department, with all the results to be back by the next hearing, which is January 25th. I did add in here placement as agreed by CPS and ad litem's, just in case y'all need that as a backup. DNA on Mr. Pope may or may not happen, but I'm going to put that in order. Visits as agreed by CPS and ad litem's, in person no less than 1 time per week for 1.5 hours, and virtually 2 times per week as placement ad litem's and CPS. Parents are to provide personal effects. Right now, I'm not going to order child support. I'm like I think Miss Fowler or Miss Wright said, y'all do diapers, wipes, she needs a passy, whatever she needs, y'all be able to, y'all be sure and keep up with that. So I don't have to order any monetary child support right now. Parents to be timely informed of all doctor visits and information coming out of the doctor visits, no less than 48 hours of the visits. CPS to obtain medical records and to be distributed by the next hearing is 1/25/23. I wrote 23, 24. And I wrote all hearings are agreed soon. Now, the medical records will be an ongoing deal, obviously, but when y'all are talking medical records, y'all are talking about the hospital in San Antonio and all that stuff, right? Okay. Okay. Does anybody need anything else? That's pretty thorough. Ms. Lang?
Just one thing, Ken, I want to make sure maternal grandma can visit as well. When mom visits, they can figure out mom. The focus is on mom, but letting maternal grandma be there too.
I'm going to add something to that. I'm going to put maternal grandma visit last 30 minutes because the department needs to observe your client with the child for most of the visit. Ad litem's, y'all agree with that? Okay. And we need to make sure that she's she's good. Okay, I just want y'all to know that at 9:11, Miss Early, make note of this. I texted Jessica Cooper and hold on.
Judge Teresa Donnell's in the waiting room.
Okay, I added to the order that maternal grandma visit for the last 30 minutes. And no Zoom. I mean, she can visit all during Zoom. Zoom or FaceTime, whatever. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. Well, sounds like y'all have a cute little girl and that she's doing well, and we'll hope to get over this time. And y'all start working on your service plan, because the quicker y'all can work on that, the quicker y'all get us out of your lives. Okay, well, best of luck to everybody. Have a happy holiday season, and I'll see y'all via Zoom on January 25th.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you.
Ms. McDonald, are y'all gonna need to go to breakout room?
Judge, I don't think we will necessarily. It's my understanding that what we're proposing is something that Sandra is in agreement with trying. And I think Ms. Milloway did update us earlier this morning and said that Newella is up to date on her immunizations. If you'll recall, Judge, that was one of the biggest issues we had. Marydale could not accept her until they were updated, and that has been accomplished.
Okay, good.
I'll be right back, Your Honor. I hear a bulldog barking. I gotta get him.
I understand.
Did you say this was a grand dog, Judge? That's cute.
Yes, grand dog.
Do you spoil the grand dog more than you spoil your dogs?
Not really, because she stalks my cats.
So she's not a good grand dog. She's a bad grand dog.
Too bad, girl. Thank you. This is an emergency hearing, and Ms. McClure asked for it last night, and Ms. Fowler and I were in court at 9. So I just thought it'd be convenient for at least her and I to be here today. Everybody agrees that it can be held via Zoom because I have court in 4 counties today. So, okay, Ms. McClure, this is your deal. What's going on?
Well, if you'll recall, Judge, at the last hearing, we had a discussion about Maridale. Kim had worked very hard to secure some commitments from them that if she were qualified, that they would be able to do a special contract to take Nuella for a program. I can't remember, 2 or 3 months long, where she could get the kind of focused assistance she needs. At that point, when we discussed it last, it was not something that Sandra or her attorney were willing to agree to. Apparently, and we can ask Sandra for the details, but apparently she had to have her taken to the hospital last night and she was assessed. And it's my understanding that at this point that Sandra is more open to her going to Maridale. The biggest problem with getting her into Maridale last month was that she was not fully immunized, and it's my understanding she is now fully immunized. So I would like to request that the court allow us to progress to having her assessed and see if we can have her admitted to Maridale.
Okay. Yeah, what's going on?
According to Kim, with a text or email last night, there's been some insurance issues, and we've had insurance issues because these parents were on TRICARE, and it's just been a constant battle to try to get the insurances worked out. But apparently she's had some trouble getting medication consistently and taking it consistently. She is, I think, and we'll have to ask Sandra if we need to, apparently she's made it clear she doesn't want to be there to Sandra. And I will say that when I spoke with her last week from school, she also told me that she did not want to be there. I did ask her in very veiled terms, if there was a place in Texas that we could get her into that could help her with a program for an amount of time. Is that something that she would think about doing? And she was actually very enthusiastic about that idea.
When you say she did, sorry, she doesn't want to be here or there. What are you talking? Who are you talking about? Nuella and California, or what are you talking about?
She told me, I didn't ask the specific question. She voluntarily notified me that she did not want to stay with her grandmother. I would hope that maybe we could get her some help and see how things are when that program is over and see if that could be something reestablished. But at this point, she is adamant that she does not want to stay there.
What's going on?
She's very closed, very hesitant to go deep into anything. I know they got a bigger place, and she did say that was better, but I don't think it's the size of the place. I think she's, I think there's a lot of things. I think it's medication, not consistent. I don't know about her therapy and if she's got a good rapport yet with her therapist there. I think this child suffered the brunt of the abuse in the originating family. I think she shielded her sisters from a lot of trauma and she took it. And I think she needs the help. I just don't think that anybody could really help with her issues right now without greater assistance from something more professional.
Is the or are the things that you and the department and CASA seeing now, are they sort of the same things that we had for when she was moved from Nevada?
I think there's a lot of those, I'm not going to use the word feral anymore. She's not feral, but she does have a tendency to be, she can be a little violent. When I did talk to the littles, they did mention that she hit them. Of course, just a child hitting another child is not indicative in and of itself of a situation where they shouldn't have any relationship. But I do think that she needs some help in getting proper boundaries, and she needs some help in dealing with the trauma so that she doesn't feel the need to lash out at anyone. Okay.
Have y'all think that Maridale is the best? I know it would be a special contract, blah, blah. Y'all think it's the best place that can deal with her what she needs versus another kind of RTC?
I think Kim is probably the best person to answer that, Judge.
Okay.
Kim,
would-
tell us what you
Yes.
think.
I'm very hopeful. The program is amazing, and it will give her a neutral spot to be where she can deal with her trauma. They have a nurse full time. They have a long-time therapist. Their staff's it's been there a long time. It's a really good program, right? Right. There's nothing Sandra can do. She's never going to do anything right. Nuala takes all of her rage out on Sandra.
But when you say that, you what Nuala thinks, that Sandra can never do anything right. Not that y'all have. That's what Nuala thinks.
Yeah, Sandra is trying. Sandra loves her. She wants her back, but we need help. Nuala's threatening to strangle her and punch her in the face, and she's getting right up to her. She's telling me she hasn't hit her yet, but she's almost. Because, I talked with Noelle last night, and I said, look where you're at. You've got your own bedroom now. There's a pool during the summer you can make friends. I said, you're hanging out on the couch. You're getting up, getting something out of the refrigerator, eating snacks. You're not going to be able to do that kind of stuff if you leave a home environment. I said, look at the good things. And she said, yeah, she takes me to youth. She takes me to parties. So she named off several good things. And she said, but I hate her. I don't want to be here. She says, and I'm only staying 7 days. When they were in the ER, somebody there told her it's going to be at least a week just to get her to be able to leave with Sandra and stay calm. So she's giddy, 7 days, I'll be out of here. I'll never see her again. She just, and I told her, I said, if you have to leave here, you're going to also lose your support, because she's built relationships with the aunt and uncle and the aunt's siblings. And she goes, I know. She goes, and I'll lose my crush. She goes, but I'm not going to stay here.
Well, I want her to know that she's a child. And, she goes where she's placed, where we say she's placed. Kids are not going to, she's not going to decide that at her age. She's young. She's not going to decide that. It will obviously play a factor into it, but, it's not her decision.
Well, she's not staying. We don't move her. She's running away.
Well, I got that, but I'm just saying she doesn't run this. And I know people don't always agree with that, but that's why they're children and we are adults. We were all raised that, we didn't run our houses. So I assume y'all were raised that way.
Marydale also, one of my favorite things is that they have weekly family counseling. And that will bring in Sandra. It can bring in the aunt and uncle. I really feel that that's what she needs, because Sandra wants to be there for her.
What about, I don't know, but would Miss Darby's clients be involved in that, or are they totally out of Nuala's life?
Honestly, I feel like once they get the two littles, which is where I think the two littles, they're thriving. They need to be there. I'm actually good with even closing on the littles, because the aunt and uncle are not moving forward like we had hoped. And they're doing really good there. But my biggest fear, which I spoke to John and Lisa like 2 days ago too, is that they're going to take Nuala away, keep Nuala out of the littles' lives. They're making it difficult for Sandra even to talk to them and, get her. Well, Sandra's not even able to have her court-ordered time because she's so worked up with Nuala. Nuala's taking all of the attention.
Well, and Sandra's already a named conservator, isn't she?
Yeah,
she is. But I think my hope is when Nuala's out, then maybe Sandra and John and Lisa can work better together, because I want Sandra to be able to have time with the littles.
And Judge, I will say that I think once everyone gets out, me and Natalie were able to work out fine at the Christmas visit. I'm assuming that Sandra still wants the littles for that time. So I think that once everyone gets out, it will probably de-escalate a lot. I think that where the Hanleys are coming from is that there was some concerns over Thanksgiving with Nuala and her behavior with the littles. And I think that part of them wants to make sure that, they don't Noella doesn't end up hurting them.
Okay. Well, Miss Fowler, Miss Darby, y'all think, I mean, we'll get a little time, see where we're at. Y'all think y'all gonna be able to get an agreed order?
We're working
Yes.
on it.
I
Okay.
do. Your Honor, I think there was also some standoffishness from Lisa and John because I think in sort of miscommunication telephone ways, it was they thought that everybody was working against them to try and take the littles away and place them with John, Jason, and Misty, and so they were understandably standoffish if they were wanting to keep them. So I think once we communicate that we want to get a final order naming them sole managing and Sandra PC with some laid out visitation, things will go very smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, and I Miss Fowler, I know you probably told them this, but no, assure them that we just want as much family as possible involved in these kids' life. Considering,
Plan B.
duh, we would want that, but also considering where these kids came from.
Right.
And, they need to know that the children need to know that that's not how everybody lives.
Well, yes, Your Honor. And also it was my understanding that the ICPC, if it was going to be done, should have been done on all three and not leave any of them out in case circumstances changed. But it was always a backup in my mind for the little ones.
Right. Hindsight's great. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Miss Fowler, while you're talking, anything?
No, Your Honor. I mean, I think you can see it on Sandra's face that she's just exhausted and she has tried everything. But if somebody is hell-bent on not being with you, I think she's the closest person that she can lash out at.
Right.
That she can't lash out at her parents because there's no context. So she's lashing out at the next best thing, which is Sandra. But for a while I thought it was knee jerk because we still had family that was willing to try and weather the storm. But I think the storm has just gotten a bit too big for Sandra to handle. And, and she's adamant now, whether Sandra wanted to keep her or not. And she does. Noella just will not have it. So.
Yeah, I totally understand. Miss Darby?
I don't have anything, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Miss Guy, anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. McClure, do you have an order you want me to sign, or is the department preparing it, or what's up?
Jessica and I will work that out, Judge.
Okay. Well, it sounds like everybody's in agreement, and I will be in agreement, obviously, with what y'all think, and it sounds like we're going to require a special contract, and I'll be around over the holidays if we need to have emergency hearing. So y'all placement, or I don't know. It sounds like things are kind of hitting the fan. So might probably just be a phone conference though, because I'm not going to carry this thing around with me all the time. So yeah, I'll sign. I'll review it, but of course I'll agree, sign whatever y'all send me.
Okay, thank you, Judge. We'll get that out.
Yeah, Miss Sandra, thank you for hanging in there. And don't be. I mean, I know you're upset. Duh, I got that. But like the other lawyers have said, this is just her and Miss Singleton. She's just lashing out. When you go from, as Miss McClure said, feral to having rules and guidelines in a normal family life, it's hard. And we've had this happen before in other cases. So hopefully she'll just get some good counseling. And I know the place she's talking, we're hoping for. It's been there a gazillion years, and it's fabulous.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, well, good luck to everybody, and we'll be in recess till the next hearing at 10. And go have happy
there
holidays.
she is. Okay, just
Merry
want to make
Christmas,
sure I
Judge. Thank
gave her good information. I told her to hit the leave meeting button like an idiot. So first of all, I want to say that we have an agreement. We're going to agree to services, and I am a little concerned that in the beginning here we were about to sign off thinking that she was avoiding us and she wasn't going to show up, and that kind of set the expectation for this mom, and it's wrong. That's not her at all. Paige is very, very aware of her situation. She's very aware of her addiction problems. She's very she's very invested in trying to make this work. And so we have a couple of requests, and one of them is we would like to try to get her into rehab as soon as possible. And I'm going to tell you why. She's on felony probation right now, and she came up dirty, and they want to incarcerate her until they can get her into SafeP. As you know, SafeP is not going to work for this case because it's a huge chunk of time. She's not going to be able to work her services. So I would like to get her into an OSAR right away so she can get into a 60-day program, and then from there go to another program that's more like an open door type thing, or a adult challenge situation where she can kind of step through these different rehab programs, because her problems are the meth is the main drug right now. I want to tell you, the ketamine and the fentanyl, she knows where that came from. She's pretty sure it was the guy she was with spiked whatever she had, and that's where it came from. But she has never used those drugs on her own. But she had a heroin problem for 7 years, and she's been clean off of heroin for 5 years because she found out she was pregnant. So she really wants to try, but she's not going to be able to do it by herself. And she knows that. And she knows it's going to be a 2-step forward, 1 step back. But she's very invested. So
Miss Willis, tell her to look at Serenity House in Abilene.
Okay.
They have a good rehab program, and then plus they have a great aftercare program also.
Perfect. Yeah.
And Nina, she actually can apply to go there without an OSAR.
Okay.
And so she might start looking into that while she's waiting on her OSAR appointment.
Okay. And here's another concern that Paige has. And I should let her speak for herself because I would like you to hear from her. But right now she's homeless. And so that's created a dilemma for her. Paige, why don't you address that, okay?
Mm-hmm. So I was telling Abe, it's one thing, I wish CPS would change is when they do pull parents from the home, they put them in a hotel in a safe place to start working the program instead of just, I'm thrown to the streets. I told him, I said, you're putting me right back into drugs. And it's not where I want to be. I have nowhere to go. Except for right back to the street. But I don't want to be here.
Because Jaden's with grandma, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's also battered women's shelters since based upon
I'm on the waiting list. I've been on the waiting list for those. The Texas Baptist Children's Home. It's the waiting list.
Well, write down, okay, what about, help me here. I think in San Antonio, we've had somebody at a place called Guadalupe House. And I know Joanne San Miguel had got a lady in one over in Temple and Belton. Can't think of the name of it.
Mm-hmm. Not Christian Treehouse.
Yeah, but that's a rehab. I'm talking about like a shelter.
Right.
I think there's one in Copper's Cove. Dory Mystic might know some of those. Joanne had a lady in a Lampasas case getting ready to go into one, and it was like Temple, Belton, like I said. The place in San Antonio was a shelter, and it was on a burning case. Also, there's a good place. There was a place that we haven't sent anybody there in a while, or that I'm aware of. A place in San Antonio that it was a rehab, but then there was a family part of the rehab too. It was kind of America in the name.
Oh yeah. That was one of my clients. I remember that.
I want to say Youth for America, but that's not what it was. It was a rehab place. It was, you could live there, and it was really, the people that went there did really well.
And you're not thinking of Teen Adult Challenge, that Volunteers of America, Volunteers of America.
Volunteers of America. Yes, 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 yes. I mean, Serenity House in Abilene is my favorite. And, but yeah, Volunteers of America, whatever it is. Yeah. Ms. Welch.
There's the domestic violence and assault services they have available through that Highland Lakes Family Crisis Center, that number. And they've got places in Austin proper and in Temple. Is that the place that Joanne sent her client to, possibly?
Say it again.
So there's a place available in Temple and Lampasas and in Austin. And I have the number if she wants to try calling that place.
Do you know the name of it, Miss Welch?
Highland Lakes Family Crisis Center.
No, the one in Temple or Belton or somewhere.
Our Lady of the Angels.
That might be it. Ma'am, Miss Page, are you on the waiting list for the one in Marble Falls?
No, ma'am, I'm on a waiting list for Synacor in Austin.
Okay, rehab.
Like who else to reach out to that was like state funded?
Call the Highland Lakes Crisis Center in Marble Falls. It's a shelter. It's an emergency shelter for, abused.
Okay,
women.
AJ with Bertram PD told me about that place.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
It's good, and I think there's some family violence in your history, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it might, and it's close. It's here.
She's in Taylor right now for the moment, but then she's just couch surfing, trying to find a place to stay off the streets. So, but we can get her there somehow, can't we? If she needs to get to Marble Falls.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna figure it out. Yes.
Okay.
They will actually come and get her and come help her, depending on the situation.
Okay. So Paige has got another concern, and I think it's really important to know she's concerned about Jaden's knowledge of what she's going through here, and the fact that he doesn't really understand what the department intervention is about. And I'll let her tell you what she's worried about.
So just Jaden's a very smart 5-year-old. He knows the CPS, so the second this happened, his concern, just kept asking, like, are you coming back here? Are you leaving? Are you coming back? Because he knows they separated us before, and that's what's happening, And he brought up to my mom, he don't like Abe. I don't like him. He's a bad man. My mom's like, why is he a bad man? He took my mommy. He won't let my mommy come see me, and CPS is here to help, but he's not understanding why his mommy can't come see him. My mom said he didn't eat for 2 days. He didn't want to go in the bedroom because my stuff was gone. And I just think to go to the CPS office, that's going to damage him a little bit more, because we've been there, done that. Like my mom has always been the supervisor of our visitations. So I get it's a process, everybody wants to be able to see their kid, but it's doing damage to him. I just don't want to go to the CPS office if we can do it at my mom's house and her supervise.
So, I don't know what the plan is on that. Ms. Potts, Ms. Welch, department, what did y'all talk about that?
Can I say something before they answer that? It's almost Christmas. Can we do something that is close to Christmas so she can have that one visit and connect it to the holidays?
So, and I can answer the department and the ad items. We're talking about starting 1 hour supervised visits, and it is at the CPS office, just to ensure until she's got some clean, UAs and things like that, that is the best option so that she can continue weekly visits for at least 1 hour a week with him. And there's been some concerns about grandma really needing the mom's assistance and kind of enabling mom. And so we just want to make sure the visits are occurring in a safe environment. but that those visits start right away.
How does my mom enable me?
Well, let me ask something before Paige, just hold on a second, okay? And we understand that, and I knew that was what y'all were going to recommend. I appreciate the right-of-way visits. That isn't always recommended. But being that it's a holiday, can we at least have this visit at grandma's house with a CASA or CPS supervisor present?
I mean, I don't think that the department is okay with that at this time. We can try to schedule one on Friday, right before this weekend, right, Teresa? Can we try to do that? Or right after? I don't know, when does the CPS office open back up again, Teresa, after the holidays?
We'll open on the 27th.
Let me ask a question. Why couldn't the department and maybe grandma and mom and Jaden go to like Pizza Hut or somewhere that's not the department? I think the weather's gonna be bad Friday, it's gonna rain. But or go to Dairy Queen and maybe mom, grandma pay for everybody to eat like lunch or hang out or something like that. Where does grandma live?
In Bertram.
I mean,
something that you're able to do. I know that I don't know what your staffing looks like, Miss Donnell.
We could probably make it work for like Friday of this week.
Your Honor, I want to
the,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say we could have the visit as suggested at a restaurant or something like that.
Something nice and Christmassy. So he thinks that it's just a Christmas visit.
Yeah, I think y'all can. I mean, why don't we do that for like this week and next week to get over that hump, and then we all could regroup the first week in January. And Mom, of course, could FaceTime. I don't have a problem with that.
Judge,
a couple of times a week. I mean, we're definitely going to put the Children's Bill of Rights in effect if we have some of this stuff going on. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Potts.
Your Honor, I'm just sort of worried about putting a lot on this grandmother. She has an injured back. She's in pain from that. Her knees have had numerous operations. It's hard for her to walk. She has fibromyalgia, which is very difficult. She also has asthma. And so she's got a lot going on. She also works, and she's having trouble struggling with her finances because Mom was going to pay for part of the rent of the house and Mom is not there anymore. So I don't want to put, and she loves her daughter very much. She's got that strong emotional attachment, which makes it, I think, difficult to be as protective of Jaden as she would like to be. So I'm worried about just piling on too much on grandma and having her do these supervised things, but I'm just throwing it out there. I'm good with whatever. I just think there needs to be an awareness.
My mom would prefer for us to do, the Dairy Queen or something like that over the CPS office. Is my mom on the Zoom meeting?
No, she's not a party. She's not entitled to come. Oh, she's okay. She's placement. She can come in, but she's not in the waiting room. Nobody's here besides us.
I think that would be easier for her to go to a restaurant, Susan, than to go to the CPS office.
Yeah.
Well, it's whatever y'all want to do. It's up to the judge. I just
CPS have to pay for the food. I mean, some mom or grandma, somebody's going to have to pay for the activity, whatever y'all decide to do.
Yeah. I would love that, Judge.
I think grandma's going to have to pay for it, Judge, because I don't think Mom is working.
I work.
Okay, good.
Okay. And you know what? I'm just going to tell you this. Sometimes I order it, but I'm not going to do that now. If the department's there, Miss Page, buy them a Blizzard, buy them an iced tea, buy them some French fries. We're going to go a little bit above and beyond. I mean, I don't want you to buy them a ribeye, anything like that.
Yes,
but, be kind and, you know, it can be like, this is grandma's friend, or, you know, you can make it as generic as, you know, oh, this means that CPS is watching everything y'all do. You know, y'all can chill out on that. Okay.
So, Your
And
Honor,
Judge, I would ask for a 24-hour confirmation of the
Yeah.
visit as well.
So contact my caseworker 24 hours in advance to it.
To
Okay.
confirm the
Well,
visit.
I mean, I think you were going to do a visit this Friday. I mean, after we get off this Zoom, everybody needs to work and set that up. You know, make a plan. Or
Yes,
y'all
ma'am.
y'all can stay here and talk and, you know, get grandma on the phone and make a plan. And, you know, Miss Potts, Miss Welch, Casa one of them might be there to watch or observe also, you know? And, I don't know, my train of thought just went away, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Miss I cannot talk today. I apologize. Miss Willis, is your client making a general appearance, please?
Yes, we didn't talk about that, but Paige, what she's asking is because we didn't get you personally served, you're here today and you want to work services and you're accepting service, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. What else do you need, Miss Willis?
I think my contractor is coming to the door right as you asked me that. I think that, let me see. That is it, according to my notes. Yeah, one thing that I do want to do is get a hold of her probation officer and try to see if they can coordinate with us, because I really think that SafeP would make this CPS case just not work out.
Can I ask Ms. Page what who is your probation officer?
Bailey Benson in Hayes County.
Okay, was your probation transferred over to Burnett County?
It was. They're just like a courtesy.
Okay, and do you know who that is?
No, I just have a supervisor in the night. And I'm supposed to go, I think on the 22nd is when they want me to go in and sign papers for jail.
Okay, and I'm sorry, what was the last name of your probation officer?
Bailey Benson.
Benson, okay. Okay.
Ma'am, okay, when you say, and then do you have a lawyer on that? You should have a lawyer on that modification of your probation.
No, ma'am.
Don't sign anything without, Miss Willis does criminal stuff. I'm sure she told you, but don't sign anything without going over it with Miss Willis, okay?
She just came up dirty, Judge, and the probation officer told her that they are going to be recommending SafeP, or she called it SMART something.
Yeah. So it's either that or they just revoke me and I do the jail time. And I was like, well, I'm not doing that, you know. And I told her, I was like, jail isn't going to help me. You know, I'm an addict and I need to, you know, work with CPS. I need counseling. I need, you know, to go to these classes and stuff. But this is what I need. You just putting me in jail and doing this stuff, it's not going to benefit me at all.
Miss Willis, on these type of situations, when she says jail, would they do like make her do a voluntary mod that go to spend time in jail?
They can do that.
I mean, or do you go to jail first before you can go to SafeP, or?
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of options that they could do. I mean, you know, if they could make her spend a couple of weeks in jail, that would be a way better deal CPS wise than, well, you know, these other, you know, door number 1 and door number 2.
And so it's jail time. I have to go to jail and wait for the bed to open at SMART and SafeP, you know, so I would be sitting there until this bed opens and then I would be there for 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but
I mean,
if you could get it, I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't mean to talk over you.
I mean, Miss Willis, you need to be able to talk to her. I'm going to go on and order Miss Page to sign a release for the probation records for everybody to confer with their probation officer, to get the records and to be able to confer with their probation officer.
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, do not, we need to know the plan ahead of time. Don't get in there and sign up, because I mean, if you do that, like now, you might go to jail, and that's going to mess with our visits and da 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 da. And we need to have a big plan. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What else, Miss Willis?
I think that's it. I'm just, I was going to try to call over there today and see if they'd at least let me talk to them. You know, they don't have to talk to me, but I could talk to them and tell them what's coming down the pike. And then if she's really got no place to go, and we can get her into one of these places, like say the Serenity House, maybe they can agree to let her sit in Hayes County until she goes. But I don't want that to happen. I think that's too complicated, but it's just another option. I just, where are you staying right now, Paige? Are you staying in your car?
No. I'm at a friend's house that doesn't use.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you can stay there a little while so that we can get you organized.
Yeah.
And where do you work?
I DoorDash.
Okay.
So I have been, so I'll work and then I'll give mom, like $50, send it to her on Cash App, something like that. But I'm trying to do what I can to help her, with what little I can.
Okay. Miss Vanna, what do you need?
Your Honor, today we'll be asking that mom drug test weekly for the department as directed, all of your standing orders regarding drug testing. However, in addition to that, the department is asking that we get a special order for drug testing for fentanyl and ketamine for mom. We're asking for a hair strand test to be done on Jaden and mom, and for that to include fentanyl. Let's see. So drug testing, we're asking the court order an OSAR evaluation to be completed ASAP. Sounds like mom wants to go to rehab, so hopefully she'll be honest in that. We wanted a release of information. I think we've got the visits squared away. And let's see here. It appears that hopefully it appears that Jaden needs to go see a doctor. The grandma did not have an inhaler for him. Allegedly mom had it. So he needs to go get checked out, make sure everything's okay, and that he gets all of his prescription inhaler, because that could land him in the ER if something were to go wrong. I know that Ms. Potts can explain what she observed when she went to visit. Let's see here. And we're going to ask the department is going to look at other people to do home studies on, and just to get grandma some help. It seems like grandma is struggling on her own. And so we need to get some people approved that can be either respite or, have placement of him and grandma can visit so that the family can work together to do what's best for Jaden. And there was one more thing, and we're asking for a stay away order for mom from the grandma's residence while the child is there, from the child's daycare or school, and from grandma's work. That stay away order would not apply during visits, obviously. And I would say 200 feet.
Ma'am, so my mom called and needed prescriptions that were in town, so I picked them up for her and I just put them in the mailbox and left, and so I call her ahead of time, let her know, like, I'm here, so she gets Jaden to the back of the house, so, so I can drop this stuff off. So I did do that, but that was her breathing machine medicine. She was struggling to breathe. So I did drop that off to her, but Jaden was nowhere around.
Okay.
Miss Page, let me tell you, you're in court, so you can't vape, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I mean, I know it looks like we're in court, but we really are.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll leave that up to you, Judge. It does seem like grandma does need a lot of assistance, although it's been my understanding that mom has actually been going over there at least a couple of times when Jaden has been there. And so That's just been.
Since he's been pulled away? Since I've had to leave there? I haven't seen Jaden or been around him at all.
Ms. Potts, would you like to say something?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know what happened. All I can do is tell you what Grandma told me, was that she had come by to drop off some of Jaden's things. Jaden was not at daycare because he was sick. This was last night, and that when I got there, grandmother was out of breath. She was really struggling. She was frantically looking for something, couldn't find it. I asked her if she was okay. And she said her daughter had taken her inhaler and she was trying to find another one. And then later, when speaking with Jaden, I noticed he was having trouble breathing. I didn't know he had asthma too. I asked him why was he breathing so heavy, and he said it was his asthma. I said, do you have an inhaler? And he said, no, mommy didn't get it. Grandma, of course, explained that mom probably didn't know it was their last inhalers when she took them, that she probably thought they had a bunch more because grandma usually gets them in a big box. So it wasn't mom's fault. But I'm just thinking that's why we were requesting the stay away order, so that there's no questions about things like that. I think it protects mom and grandma both, but certainly it protects Jaden, because we have some pretty serious drugs here and we don't have sobriety yet. So I just want to be sure that for a little while, everybody's kept safe.
Okay, I didn't take her inhaler. Mine is separate. You know what I mean? It has my name on it. The breathing machine medicine, I called and told her where it was. There was 5 of them left that she found, and then I brought her prescription. Jaden's prescription is at the pharmacy and cannot be picked up because CPS messed up the insurance. Usually it just transfers right back into my name. Well, the insurance that he was on with CPS, for some reason, it's under Jaden's name, and Medicaid won't release him back onto mine. So we've been fighting back and forth. I've been talking to my old CPS team, trying to get it figured out. But that's why his prescription can't be picked up, is because of the insurance. But his prescription is at the pharmacy still, never picked up.
Which pharmacy?
Which pharmacy?
At CVS.
Where?
In Leander. It is at New Hope in Baghdad. Yeah.
So
Okay.
y'all ask the department to figure that out.
Yeah. Lots of ins and outs, and department, y'all get that figured out soon, because we obviously, weather's going to start getting wet, and then that's going to be more stuff coming in for allergies and asthma and all that. Yeah. So okay, what else do you need, Ms. Potts?
That's all, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Welch, Casa? You're good. Okay, what I have written down.
Did we get to the hair strand for Jaden? For fentanyl?
Down. Y'all listen to what I have down. Agreed that the department is the temporary managing conservator. Status hearing is going to be 2/6/24. Ms. Page, after today, there'll be a meeting called a family group conference, and that's where your services are developed so you can get Jaden back home. I tell everybody at every hearing you have to comply with your service plan, or your parental rights could be subject to termination. I'm sure your OSAR, all that stuff, that's gonna be your service plan, and I know you're gonna be getting on that, immediately. So that'll be good.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Page, your application for court-appointed attorney, I don't know if Ms. Willis has sent you that, but I probably not, since y'all just visited. I need that returned to me by January 1st, because I need to know that you're eligible for an attorney. And if I don't have all that financial information, I don't know. And then Ms. Willis is released from further representation if I don't have that. So Ms. Willis, get Deanna to send that to Ms. Page as soon as you can. I wrote Ms. Page's to OSAR ASAP, and CPS is to help find her a shelter or inpatient rehab facility. Pages to sign a release for probation records, and so that y'all can confer with her probation officer. Sounds like we need to do that pretty darn soon. Pages to provide personal effects. Ma'am, if you're working, and you're doing money now, so that'll work. But, if Jaden needs a new coat or a new pair of, little rain boots or something, whatever CPS, your mom, and or the ad litem say that Jaden needs, and I want you to help out with that way instead of, I don't have to order $200, or something like that.
No, yes, ma'am. For sure, I would do that.
You're working on that anyway. Here, visits per CPS and ad litems, the next 2 weeks visits with the maternal grandma at an agreed upon location for 1.5 hours each. So y'all can do a visit, or y'all work those out. Virtual visits 2 times a week as arranged by placement, CPS, and ad items. I'm going to include a special order for testing for fentanyl and ketamine. Hair strand on mom and Jaden to include fentanyl and ketamine. Ms. Page is not to go to the placement, child's school, or grandmother's job, except for visitation is to remain 200 feet from those locations. I think that about covers everything. I'm going to need to get those visits set up quickly because I know towards the end of the week, people start flaking out and not being available. And, burn it would be easiest because, Storms is a good place to go and it's not expensive. I mean, there's not kids stuff to do there, but it's a good place to visit. And good hamburgers makes me hungry thinking about it. But, I don't know. Y'all know Burn It better than I do, but y'all can make a plan. Does that cover it for everybody?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Miss Willis, I have a list of, I don't have it. I don't think I have
it twice, Judge.
Huh?
Sorry,
Check
I have to
twice.
say that.
I know who's naughty and nice. That's right. I have a list of inpatient rehab facilities.
Okay.
I'll look on my phone and see if I have it printed. I know, and it's real thick. Let me look on my phone and see if I have it on my email. If not, Miss Trinidad will be back next week. You might want to email her for the list if I can't find it and send it to you. But it's real good, and it's a statewide. CPS in Brownwood put it together for me a couple of months ago, maybe a year ago. It's good. I can't guarantee that every place is still there and open, but hey, it's somewhere to start.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we know who the caseworker is going to be?
Yes, Marcy De La Cruz.
Okay.
And Judge, did you order the random weekly drug testing on the color?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Miss Taylor Cruz has probation background, so that'll be good too. Okay, let me just look real quick and see if I have this. Rehab list. Yes, I do. Okay, Miss Willis, I'm sending it to you. It's going to be from a weird email of mine you don't usually know. Okay.
Okay.
So I have slipped up a couple times because I'm on the streets in it, so I'm just trying to be honest with everybody.
No, that's good.
I'm struggling out here.
But I don't know anything about using drugs. I mean, other than what I learned in court, and being a prosecutor before this. I'm concerned about you and fentanyl.
I don't use it. I mean, I didn't use it like willingly. That'll never show up. Like I would never use opiates again.
Okay. Well, I just, we hear all the bad stuff on TV and have had,
yes, ma'am.
Family or friends that have passed because of that, and anytime I hear that, I just get kind of freaky about it,
I totally understand. Yes,
so
ma'am.
don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. I know about the other thing. Don't be dumb on drugs anyway, but surely try to be careful with that. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I had one more request.
Okay.
Can you order the transfer and consolidation out of Williamson County into this case? And I'll just put that in this adversary order.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just another thing I wanted to throw out there is, and I knew there was something else I wanted to bring up. Paige was pretty badly abused by that last guy, the guy that probably gave her the fentanyl and ketamine. So she does have a lot of trauma-based behaviors. So I want to make sure that we address that in her family service plan.
Okay. And be sure and bring that up at the family group conference. Yeah, and I think some of that is some good reason that she'd be able to get into it, like maybe the shelter in Mama Falls,
And Judge Jaden did witness what happened to his mother. So I'm thinking maybe if we can find a therapist that could take a 5-year-old. I know that's a tall order, but it certainly would be helpful.
Okay, I'm gonna put CPS have child in therapy within 1 month. Where does grandma work?
At Lowe's.
Okay. So she's on her feet all day, probably, huh?
I'm not too sure. I know they changed her position, but she was like on the computer doing online orders and stuff.
Oh,
So I'm not
good.
too sure.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, well, like I told you, Ms. Page, you have a service plan, you have to comply, your parental rights can be subject to termination.
Yes, ma'am.
It sounds like you have some good intentions and good plan, and so I expect that we will only be hearing good news, and we won't be, having any relapses or anything else. So, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, thank y'all for coming. Thank you. I wrote down, Miss Vanna, that Miss Page made a general appearance today, so you can deal with that and your people serving her with papers. And I'll take a picture of the docket sheet and send it to you. Miss Willis, I already sent you the rehab list. You should have received that. And we'll see y'all for status hearing on 2/6. Do y'all agree that all the hearings can be held via Zoom?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I think I wrote that down, but if not, I'll add it again. Okay. Thank y'all. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Paige, call me as soon as we hang up, okay?
Okay.